Welcome to the CMS Middle School Championship presented by Ortho Carolina. I'm Cooper DePaula. Alongside me is legendary Butler High School head coach Brian Hales. Coach Hales, it's a pleasure to join you in the booth today.
Absolutely. We got such a great day to be together out here, Cooper. So much excitement. We got a great crowd. We got the Mallard Creek Band here doing their thing. It's going to be a great day.
Oh, it's a beautiful day as well. Not a cloud in the sky. 60 degrees. Beautiful for November.
Oh, absolutely, man. We get to see the future, stars and student athletes for Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools out here today. And, just such a great opportunity for them to be out on this field. There's so many great players, and we'll talk about that throughout the broadcast here. Just what the future holds for a lot of these guys.
We're going to head down to the field for player introductions.
Number 42, Aiden Samuel. Number 51, Piedmont Davis. Number 52, Romeo Sheriff. Number 55, Tyree Lloyd. Number 56, Kristen Whitburn. Number 60, Aiden Williams. Number 62, Kason Bogan. Number 63, Quintavious McVeigh. Number 65, Yamik Mason. Number 72, Isaiah Heath. And number 80, Jabari Sifak. Now introducing our Piedmont Pirates. Number 2, Davion May. Number 3, Mario Houston Jr. Number 4, MJ Connor. Number 5, Cameron Dent. Number 6, Caden Dobbins. Number 7, Lamonte Leonard. Number 8, Mason Purcell. Number 9, Orlando Whitaker Jr. Number 10, Bryson Show. Number 11, Darius McReed. Number 12, Shiloh Grant. Number 3, Samario Houston Jr. Number 13, Samarian Cherry. Number 14, Donovan Little. Number 17, Seneca McMillan. Number 20, Maddox Hong. Number 21, Dakari Taylor. Number 22, Tyler Spratley. Number 23, Jazier Collins. Number 24, Britton Walker. Number 25, Anwar Gordon. Number 26, Khalil Collins. Number 30, Ethan Parker. Number 32, Cameron McMillan. Number 33, Trent Whitmer. Number 38, Nehemiah Poland. Number 44, Lou Bowen. Number 47, Micah Ross. Number 60, Carson Davis. Number 64, Elijah Cheney. Number 65, Solomon Sigmund. Number 70, Iran Pollard Walker. Number 72, Awasi Ostawaho. Number 75, Evan Heller. Number 80, Malak Hebrew. Number 85, Savion Doolin. Number 89, Richard Diego. Number 99, Charlie Ronco.
Hey, Dad. Good, man. Coach Tiss, nice to meet you. Yes, sir. I'll get up with you a little bit.
Hey Brady, do you want me to push the camera up a little bit? Because it's like.
Coin toss will be done by CMS AD Steve Ross.
Robinson.
Steve Robinson.
I'm just in the center of that bubble. Here, you can adjust that one.
Northridge will receive and be on offense first. Ladies and gentlemen, may we please stand for the national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove your headgear out of respect for the national anthem.
So Northridge is going to receive the ball to start the first half, and going to want to keep an eye on their quarterback Trey Smith.
Absolutely. You look at Trey. Trey's the younger brother of DJ Smith. Obviously both the sons of Coach Smith over here at Northridge. DJ, went on, from Northridge to play at Independence High School, where he was a member of, get this, 4 state championship teams, goes on to Appalachian State, wins a national title there. One of the starter defenders for one of the great upsets in college history when App went up and knocked off Michigan. He's now a linebackers coach at the University of Missouri. So, and that's one thing, you look at the history of these programs, obviously with Northridge and Coach Smith being there since 2007. And then Piedmont, Piedmont is the alma mater of one
Jair Alexander.
There you go, the All-Pro for the Green Bay Packers, who went on to have a great All-American career, also in CMS at Rocky River High School.
So Northridge going to start on offense. They have scored 44 points multiple times this season. This is an offense that can really get moving.
No, and they've got so many athletes that can spread the ball around too. You've already touched about Trey Smith, the quarterback, who had double-figure touchdown passes and rushing touchdowns. But also we're going to keep an eye on LaRon Woods, number 10, 21, Deshaun Mason, 12, Javion Jordan, and really just a host of kids over at Northridge.
Well, we're talking about Trey Smith. Trey's also good on the other side of the ball. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and he forced a safety as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that today, kids playing both sides of the ball. And some fun combinations. I know Piedmont's got the 2 receivers, Lindsey and Pearsall, that not only are they wide receivers, then they turn around and play defensive end as well.
Well, we're just about set to get underway here. It's, again, beautiful day for football.
Absolutely. Nothing like falls in Carolina, fall Saturdays in the Carolinas. Just what an opportunity for these kids to be on the field with so many great players that have come before them. Onside kick to get them started.
Yeah, they're going to try the onside, went out of bounds. Not the best attempt right there.
No, that's the thing, especially the kicking game in middle school, it could definitely be a challenge, until these kids get a little further along, you get with some trainers and things like that, get a little more developed, but, you roll the dice here to try to take over and give Northridge great field position right at midfield to start this game off.
You will see a lot of the time today on extra points, on kickoffs. You will see little wrinkles that you don't normally see in a high school or college football game.
No doubt. I wouldn't be surprised to even see these teams to go for 2 quite a bit instead of trying to kick the extra point.
So for Piedmont, our player to watch, Mason Purcell. He's one half of a 2-headed monster. Him and Lamontre Lindsey, 2 wide receivers that also play DN, and they are going to cause a lot of trouble for this Northridge defense.
So I think referees got their first meeting of the day, get everybody acquainted there at midfield.
You'd rather get it out of the way right now.
That's right. Get your conferences now. Let's not interrupt the flow of the game.
So with Northridge starting in plus territory, it's a great advantage to them, right?
Absolutely. Because you can really call anything in the playbook now. If you have some trick plays yourself you want, this is a great place to use them because you're not, even if you were to, heaven forbid, turn the ball over, you're at midfield. You still got a lot of field to defend. But, here we go. Championship football, Saturday afternoon.
It's going to be 1st and 10 from about the 44-yard line. Going to start in Piedmont territory. Here's Smith on the keeper. The ball's on the turf.
Yeah, it looked like Trey pulled out from center a little bit quick, or maybe the snap didn't quite get up. But, really cool to see Northridge come out in a little old-school I formation. It almost looked like they were trying to go with a little option look into the short side of the field.
I'll tell you what, Smith, very lucky to get back on that football. There were about 4 black shirts around the ball.
Right. Could be a little championship game jitters, too. Again, big situation, playing a big high school field like this, with a great reputation, great players.
They gave us a number 10. That's LaRon. That is LaRon Woods. He's a talented 7th grader. And my question to you is, what are you looking for in some of these high school kids? What skill sets, what part of the game are you looking for to see how well they'll translate to the high school level?
Well, one of the things that's really important, for these coaching staffs is to get these kids prepared for high school. It's so much competition, because of the transfer portal and things like that. It's tough to get scholarships right now coming out of high school. So the earlier you can get on the field, and you do that by having great fundamentals, by really learning the game and knowing the game.
We have movement on the line before the snap. Flags fly. And we're going to get an offside here.
Yeah, and I think not too surprised by kind of an uneven start like that. Again, big environment like this, great crowd here on a Saturday. It's, might be the biggest crowd these kids have ever played in front of as well. So, it's perfectly natural to see some jitters here.
I'll tell you what, Coach, you mentioned the crowd. It almost feels like a Piedmont home game.
It sure does. It sure does. Kind of spread the formation out here a little bit. You got 2 receivers to both sides.
Smith going to roll right on this play and forced out of bounds at around the the 46-yard line.
Great pursuit by the defense. Maddox Wong was over there. Lamontre Lindsay was there. Mason Pearsall. Just the usual suspects, the guys that we're probably going to see quite a bit here this afternoon.
And Maddox Wong's a name that we heard pregame when we were talking to coaches. We're going to be calling his name a lot today.
Right. Yeah, they're real excited to have him and, be able to make so many plays that he's been doing for them all season long. So here we got, a special team situation now. You're 4th and 11 at midfield, lined up to punt the ball.
They're going to snap it that's going to be Smith who punts. Going to roll inside the 20 to the 15 and out of bounds at the 13. So that's a great punt right there from the quarterback, Trey Smith.
Absolutely it is. And it's such a big advantage, too, when you have your quarterback as your punter as well, because there's so many things you can do from a fake perspective then. And even the threat of the fake, is going to force, in this case, Piedmont, you see, it didn't really put much of a rush on because I think, they're going to be very aware of, who has the ball in his hands back there.
For Northridge, our player to watch, we've already called his name once, LaRon Woods. He is a monster on defense, had 45 tackles and 12 sacks. And keep in mind, only in 7th grade, he's still got another year of middle school football.
Right, yeah, just a great, great future in front of this kid. He did it on the defensive side and offensively ran for over 400 yards and scored 8 touchdowns as well.
So for Piedmont, the starting quarterback, Samario Houston. We'll see what he can get going early here for Piedmont.
That's a name, too. That Houston last name, it's almost royalty in Charlotte high school football circles. You had, a guy by the name of Anthony Lizard Houston was the quarterback for Tom Knotts back at the old Harding days back in the 80s. And then he had a couple of sons. 2 of them are at Butler right now, Isaiah and Israel. But he had another son, Ryan, who ran for over 6,000 yards in high school, scored over 90 touchdowns before he went on to a career at UNC. So that Houston name, it might ring us some bells, but as far as I know, these guys aren't related.
We have a delay in the game here. I'm not sure what's going on with the officials, but they're getting it sorted.
It looks like, both head coaches over in this meeting this time as well.
It's interesting. You don't often see that. 2 coaches on the field and a huddle with officials this early on into the game as well.
It looks like a situation with the actual football. And that's the thing, different levels use different sizes of, footballs as well. So, it looks like it's a situation where they're trying to get shorted out, making sure they've got the right football.
Also, these 2 teams in different conferences, this is the first time they've met this year. There could be issues that come from that as well.
Of course. So, you talk about last year, you got Piedmont out here trying to defend their CMS Middle School Championship.
That's right. Piedmont last year took down Ranson in the Middle School Championship, looking to defend their title today.
Right, and then, after last season, they had a coaching change where Coach Greg Paler went from being the defensive coordinator, and he's now taking over as the head coach. The previous head coach just took a step back, and he's filling a role as an assistant coach now.
Well, since we're on the topic of the Piedmont coaching staff, you used to coach the offensive coordinator, Derek Thompson.
I did. When I first started coaching high school football in Charlotte, I was at Providence Day School in 2002, 2003. And Derek Thompson was one of the offensive linemen I had. I was the offensive defensive line coach there. And, it was funny. I saw his name on the roster. We went down before the game, and, it was, first of all, it was great to see Derek. And, it's such a, great mom. He's got 1 kid now, 1 on the way. But he also had probably the most gray hair on the coaching staff down there. And I'm not sure how I felt about a guy who coached having that much gray hair.
I heard when you guys were talking down there, he made a kid quit mid-game.
He did. We were playing up in Raleigh against Cardinal Gibbons, and he just, he had gotten his hands on somebody, started to drive him. Next thing you know, he drives him across the sideline and kind of into the bench area. And, And that was the last time we saw that young man that that night. But Derek was, he was such a great kid, such a fine dad now. Went on, he played his college football at Davidson.
So the delay is over. About to get back underway here.
There we go. Yeah, just a little bonus time out here on a Saturday with you, Coop. Yeah, it looks like Piedmont's going to spread it out. No tight end, one running back, so you got two receivers to both sides.
1st and 10 for Piedmont.
We got action ready to go.
Starting this drive at their own 13.
All right, change the formation. So you got 3 receivers to the field, 1 into the boundary.
They're going to hand off on play number 1 and spun down.
LaRon Woods.
At the line of scrimmage. That's LaRon Woods. And we're going to be calling his name all game long. He is a very gifted player.
You mentioned him, right at the beginning of the game, Cooper. It was almost like he was determined to make sure that, you were on the right guy.
It's going to be 2nd and 11.
Piedmont going with an unbalanced formation where they're putting 4 wide receivers to one side. The 2 in the front are both on the line of scrimmage.
And they're going to throw Houston to the right side. There goes the wide receiver. The ball comes out. It's scooped up by Northridge.
Yeah, they went with the quick screen out to Pearsall. As he's trying to make some guys miss, the ball came out.
And that is a costly turnover early on. Northridge.
We talked about these guys playing both sides of the ball. Fumble was recovered actually by the quarterback, Trey Smith, number 1 for Northridge.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Trey Smith getting on the ball. That's his 2nd fumble recovery of the day.
What a great opportunity for Northridge here, too. You get a turnover. You're almost in the red zone. Really big for them to cash in right now with some points. Back to their I formation look here.
1st and 10. They're going to start this drive at about Piedmont's 21. That is Woods on the carry.
The quarterback sneak. It almost looked like they were lining up for a little tush push there.
I missed that. I thought that was Woods with the ball.
Yeah, it looked like, the way Piedmont had it defended, they left the gap open, so he just took the snap and went through the gap. But, penalty like that, I'm thinking the offense may not have been quite set before they snapped it.
But that's what Trey Smith brings to the game, his legs. He had 12 passing touchdowns, but he also had 10 rushing touchdowns. And it's tough to game plan for. So, Coach, my question to you, I'm sure you've game planned against dual threat quarterbacks. How tough is that?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you just got to have a really disciplined defense. If you're supposed to be defending the B gap, you need to make sure you're defending the B gap. If you're supposed to be, covering your deep third, you need to make sure you're there because, when you see a kid like Trey Smith, again, that ball could come out anywhere at any time. He could pull it down and decide to run. So, that's one thing as coaches, we watch games and people talk about option, and it's got to be assignment football. That's all football. So you got to make sure your assignment's out playing a kid like this.
2-back look for Northridge. We have whistles and flags again pre-snap.
Another flag on the play.
They're going to get Northridge for a false start.
It'll be against Northridge.
And penalties we've seen, even on this drive, really derailing the drive for Northridge. They were set up with it at Piedmont's 21.
Yeah, real unfortunate to see. And, and the thing you hate to see is it's self-inflicted defense. As you sit back and you say, is Piedmont playing great defense or are we playing bad offense right now? The good part about that is you're playing bad offense, you're making mistakes, you could fix those things. Looks like you had a one-on-one matchup down here with Nash.
1st and 10 from the 31. Receiver comes in motion. They're going to give it to him. On the outside, that's Javion. That's Javison Josiah.
All right, little jet sweep trying to get the ball out on the edge. Nice job by Piedmont, just stringing it out, not really giving him an opportunity to turn it up. And by the time he does, they got the Cavalry's already arrived.
2nd and long for Northridge.
But certainly if you're Northridge here and you're looking to throw the ball, and especially in a second long situation like this, we got to make sure that we've got we got Lindsay and Pearsall blocked on the edges.
Now from the 30. They send that receiver in motion again. Smith.
Blitz by Piedmont.
Evading the pressure, going to heave it to the end zone. He's got a man,
He found him.
and he caught it. Touchdown, Northridge.
Yep, we got the touchdown.
Number 14.
And that's the risk right there. You know, Piedmont brought the blitz that time to go after Houston. They brought the blitz up the middle. He was able to escape from that. When you bring that blitz, you leave a lot of one-on-one coverage down the field. And especially, you know, when you get a kid like Trey Smith who can run the ball, you're back there as a defensive back. You're worried about, am I going to have to come up and make a tackle on that? He kind of catches you in no man's land a little bit. Trey with a great job keeping his eyes down the field, finding DJ Nash for the first touchdown of the night here.
And good on DJ Nash. Making sure he got both feet in bounds, secured the football off the tip.
He did. I wonder if he's going to ask if he gets credit for 2 catches on that.
So it appears that Northridge is going to go for 2 here.
Yeah, so they're back to their I formation again. So, you know, earlier they got in the I. It looked like they were trying to go with the little option look here. You know, I wonder what it's going to be a downhill run, something in between the tackles.
Smith, and we have movement again. And
false
another false start for Northridge.
False start against Northridge.
It looked like he was trying to start one of his receivers in motion. Wasn't quite sure who the false start was on. I think Coach Smith going to take a timeout here.
Yeah, Smith going to burn the first time out of the first half.
Timeout, Northridge.
And if you're Northridge in this situation, you know, going for 2 for a reason, I assume you're still going to go for 2 from the 7.
Yeah, I would think so. You know, because if you're going for 2, you know, you might not be all that confident in your kicking game, and it may not be the kicker. You know, I mean, finding a long snapper could be tough, and being the holder on that's a tough job. It's a big operation. So, you know, you may not feel confident with that to go from the 3. So you back it up. You add 5 yards. I think I'm with you. They're going to go for
Now,
this.
Coach, how does the play call change from going for 2 from the 2 to the 7?
Yeah, I think when you go from the 7, it's going to be a little bit deep. Oh, okay. Well, see, here's one thing we just found out. In middle school football, you can only go for 2.
Gotcha.
All right, so how about that? So I learned something out here today.
We're learning as we go.
That's right. But, no, as far as a different play call, when you're on the 3, you feel pretty good that you can run the ball in as well. But you get back here from the 7, you know, it makes it a little bit tougher.
Smith rolls, trying to evade pressure to his left.
Nice job rallying by Piedmont.
Towards the pylon. He's in.
Found it.
Got the 2-point conversion. Great effort from Trey Smith.
Absolutely. You know, we saw a little speed a little bit earlier getting out, and you saw the power right there to finish that run off. He was met by a defender at the goal line. He was able to kind of, you know, bull his way through and get into the front corner of the end zone.
And look at Trey Smith as he gets towards the pylon, lowering that shoulder, keeping those feet moving, and getting into the end zone.
Absolutely. Great determination there. And that's a big 2-point conversion there. You know, both these teams played great defense all season long. You know, when you look at Northridge, they only gave up 12 points in the regular season and 12 points in the playoffs. So, you know, an 8-point lead, I mean, that might feel like a little more than 8 points when you're going up against this defense.
They outscored their opponents in the regular season by 193 points.
Goodness. We already saw LaRon Woods make his presence felt. Got the turnover. Trey Smith recovered the fumble. So, you know, we'll see what they're going to do this time. You know, it's going to be the same players making the big plays. You're going to have some other people start making plays as well. That's the thing. You get to a championship game like this, like you have your usual suspects that you're going to count on to make the big plays. But who are you going to get those surprise contributions from? Who are going to be the guys that are going to make the big difference? Because your best players are usually going to kind of cancel each other out with their performances. So it's who's that next level guy that's going to step up and make a play.
So Trey Smith on the kickoff.
I saw Trey Smith up here selling popcorn a couple minutes ago, too.
It's a low kick, fielded at the 30. On the return to the outside, across the 50, into Northridge territory. Just the return that Piedmont needed.
Absolutely, absolutely. Plus territory, like you mentioned earlier, inside the 40-yard line. You know, and that's one thing, you know, where he picked the ball up on the right side of the field, you don't often see big returns coming when you're able to reverse field like that. It's just, there's usually just too much speed on the field for that. But he was able to get to a corner, turn that thing upfield, start getting north and south.
And I believe that was our man to watch. That was Mason Purcell on the kickoff return.
Yeah, he's gonna be making some plays all day for Piedmont.
Black Suburban license plate SAX 1237 that needs to be moved. Black Suburban license plate SAX 1237.
So Piedmont's going to begin this drive on the 40. Northridge's 40, that is.
Go with an empty backfield.
Empty backfield for Houston. In motion comes Purcell. They're going to Flip it to him, and Pearsall with a burst of speed to the outside picks up the first down.
Yeah, just a little jet sweep again. And the neat way that they run that is when Houston gets a snap, he doesn't necessarily hand it off. He just kind of pushes it forward. In doing that, number one, it counts as passing yards. But number two, if, the motion guy isn't able to handle it, it's just an incompletion instead of a fumble.
Sorry, that was number 9, Orlando Whitaker Jr. on the jet touch pass.
It's a great speed from Whitaker as well.
1st and 10 for Piedmont. Houston going to give it to the back. Up the gut, finding some yards. Good for around a 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, nice concept by Piedmont. They bring the motion guy, from left to right. Almost looks like they're setting up the quick screen that they tried earlier on the play that they fumbled, and then hand it off underneath. And it's just part of that whole package where you're sending a lot of eye candy and, trying to divert the vision of the defenders, got to get in behind them.
And thus far it's been working. Their first drive was only hindered by a fumble.
No doubt. They're moving it down the field. Pretty good clip right now.
Caden Dobbin on the carry. It'll be 2nd down for Piedmont.
Yeah, single receiver to the right side, Lamontre Lindsay.
They give it to Dobbins again to the left side, and he is spun down in the backfield. It's number 10 again, LaRon Woods, and that's also number 2 on the play.
Camelo Mitchell in there getting involved as well.
And that's what we're talking about with the Northridge defense. They allowed 12 points in the regular season, 12 points in the postseason. They are a stout defense.
Right. So, when you see stats like that, number one, you know that they're well coached and they know where to line up. They know where to line up. And then number two, the effort that goes behind it. There's a saying in football that you could tell how much a defender cares by how far he is from the ball at the end of the play.
So that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Northridge with an 8-0 lead over Piedmont early on. And we're back live from Mallard Creek High School, about set to get the second quarter underway. And Piedmont's moving it in Northridge territory.
Yeah, Piedmont on the march. Northridge seemed to settle in a little bit with their last possession, was able to put, a touchdown and the 2-point conversion on the board. Piedmont, wanting to stay in shouting distance here, go down and tie the ball game up. Big 3rd down play.
Yep, 3rd and 11 for Piedmont.
So you're looking at your big guns here. You're looking at Lindsay and Pearsall, I would think.
Houston going to take a shot. He's got a man caught inside the 5. Lamontre Lindsay on the reception. Athletic grab from Lindsay.
Absolutely. The old saying is you dance with who brung you. And, they told us before the game that these were the 2 big weapons on offense. And, in a 3rd and 11 situation, those are the guys you're going to look to.
So now from the 5, it's going to be 1st and goal for Piedmont.
Really tight formation here. It's a good run look, but it's also an opportunity to get the ball out on the edge. It almost looks like they're going with a wildcat there.
Whistles again pre-snap. And Northridge called for the offside, and Northridge really getting hammered by penalties early on.
I think that's what their 4th 5-yard penalty of the day. I mean, that's you start adding those things up. That's 2 first downs right there. It's hard to gain 10 yards against good defenses like this. When you're giving them up before the ball snap, really just making life hard for yourself.
And especially in a game like this, where the margins are so slim between 2 great football teams, both teams undefeated. Piedmont were here. They won the championship last year. Those margins are so small. There's no room for error.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. The deeper you go into the playoffs, every mistake you make just gets amplified more and more because the team on the other side is better equipped to take advantage of that.
We'll see if Piedmont can take advantage of it right here. It's It's going to be first and goal from the 2.
Yeah, big run look here. Looks like a direct snap.
They snap it to the back, and he's in. It's Caden Dobbins. Touchdown, Piedmont.
Yeah, and that's just a matter, you're overwhelming the defense with the number of bodies you set up over there. Yeah, you see, he's almost got 3 fullbacks over there to lead. And they're just, it's not even a matter of I blocking this guy, I'm blocking this guy. It's just get in there, get between the gap, and just start pushing people.
And now Piedmont on for the 2-point try.
Same formation, so we'll see if they got some kind of counter off that, or do you just go back and run the same thing?
They snap it to the back again. Dobbins lowers his shoulder. He's in.
Yeah, basically the same thing. Just get bodies on bodies up there. Let Dobbins pick his spot.
And those 2-point conversions are going to be huge in this game. That might just be the difference in this one.
Right, and there's great work done down there. You got Xavion Doolin, Richard Siago, Charlie Brookhart, a couple of the offensive linemen. Again, they just pushed Northridge into the end zone on that.
They really did. Dobbins almost walked in untouched both times.
Well, Cooper, looks like we're going to have us a fun afternoon out here.
It does. It's what we're all rooting for. An all-time classic between Piedmont and Northridge.
And it's just so cool to be out here and see these kids, because so many of these kids, this is the future, really of CMS athletics. A lot of these kids, they may go on to the same high school, and who knows, we may see the future of the next high school dynasty is out here in the making right now. But coming to play at a place like Mallard Creek, you had guys like DJ Humphreys, who's in probably his 10th year in the NFL. Some other current NFL guys that have played here at Mallard, Trent Simpson with Baltimore, Jordan Davis with Philadelphia. We mentioned Jair Alexander, who had played at Piedmont, the All-Pro in Green Bay. And that's, in Charlotte, I don't think a lot of people nationally understand just how good, athletics and football in this case are in Charlotte, the 704 area. You got a school like Ardrey Kell who's probably got 5 or 6 guys currently in the NFL.
So Piedmont set to kick off again. Keep an eye out for another onside. This time they're going to kick it away out of bounds, so the flag flies. And Northridge will take over at the 40.
Yeah, so another relatively short field.
And we've seen that almost on every possession tonight, except for when Piedmont started at the 13, but that led to a short field situation for Northridge.
Right. And it's just so many of those things are so important. People talk about situational football, and, you practice those situations when you're backed up, you're inside your own 15, and you practice those things because you want your players to know, hey, these are the things we're going to run when we get into a game. So when you get into game number 1, they're anticipating that, that call a little bit, and they're going to feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more comfortable in running that and executing that. Because it's one thing, you can have all the ideas in the world, but if you can't execute them, it's not really worth it.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the 14 for Northridge. And for Northridge, they've moved the ball very well in this one.
Yeah, they sure have. And it's been Trey Smith has been, the big weapon so far.
So much talent on the field. You have Smith under center. You have Woods as your tailback. They just ooze talent. 1st and 10 for Northridge. In motion comes the receiver, number 12. Smith is going to keep it, and he is swallowed up by the Piedmont defense.
Yeah, it didn't quite look like that went the way that they had planned it on it. I wasn't quite sure if he was going to hand it to the receiver coming around, but it almost looked like they had a little bootleg set up where they were bringing some receivers to the left side back over to the right. Again, big play by Piedmont to be able to throw them for a loss here. And these, and again, in these middle school situations, these long yardage things, that they're just so much more difficult. You got to make sure you got your pass protection right, and, not just knowing who to block, but again, just getting that block to happen.
Empty look for Smith. Smith going to let this one go. Down the right sideline it is. Incomplete. Defended well by Piedmont. Ball was a little underthrown, but, man, that was a deep shot that Smith just tried to take.
Yeah, that was a real nice job defensively by Piedmont. It looked like Piedmont was playing, cover 2, so you had the safety there, to help out anything deep. And he gets over there, and you had 2-on-1, knocked the ball away. And now we're looking at a 3rd and 13.
That was number 23, Jasir Collins, who had the help over the top to break that one up.
Very
now
well
3rd and 13 for Northridge. Empty look again for Smith.
So I'm thinking this is going to be Smith somehow, or maybe try to get the ball to Woods.
Smith going to roll to his right. He's just going to tuck it and run. Smith down the right sideline, staying in bounds, and picks up the first down.
Yeah, got the first down. It almost looked like a run-pass option for Smith where they wanted to get him on the edge. If the route was open, he was going to take the throw. If not, just tuck it down and run for it.
And that's just what Smith brings to the game right there. You have a 3rd and 13 situation. He just tucks it and runs and picks up the first.
Yeah, that's really frustrating as a defense.
It's got to be so tough to contain these dual-threat guys, right, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you see it on all levels. I mean, you see it here in a middle school game where you got this dual-threat kid making all these plays all the way up to, the NFL MVP, and, it's the same style.
So 1st and 10 for Northridge at about the Piedmont 43.
Yeah, another big formation here. Got a tight end left, 2 receivers to the right.
And flags fly again. This time,
alignment issue.
This time I believe we're going to get Piedmont for an offside. And we are.
Lined up in the neutral zone, free 5. So now 1st and 5 situation like this as a coach, I'm looking at, okay, 5 yards, this is really a free play for me. So, good opportunity. Maybe you run a reverse here. Maybe you take a deep shot. Because, again, it doesn't work out. It come back at 2nd and 5. It's easy manageable, still easily manageable to pick up a first down.
It opens up the entire playbook, right?
Sure does. So and especially, on this side of the 40 as well.
So 1st and 5 for Northridge. Woods is the back, and we have whistles again. This time it's going to be a timeout for Piedmont. So, luckily, not another penalty.
Yeah, I think they saw something out of the formation they weren't quite ready for, and figure it's better to take the timeout here and not give up a touchdown.
Well, Coach, especially in the first half, right? Mm-hmm. You're not necessarily going to need those timeouts like you will in the second half. So in the first half, you see a look you don't like, burn the timeout.
Right. And especially a tie ball game like this, and possessions are probably going to be limited as well because both teams are good offensively. Good offense, good defense. So, like I said, not a lot of possession. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can, in this case for Piedmont, to get the stop here.
Also, with 5 minutes left to play. So, and you haven't burned one yet.
Yeah.
Might as well burn one.
Yeah. But typically, I'm kind of, and I don't know if you watch the Monday Night Manning cast, but Peyton always says that timeouts are for the offense. And, my career, I kind of felt the same way. Like, we're not using timeouts unless we absolutely have to. So, but no, like you said, with 5 minutes to go here, it's probably a good idea to make sure we're straight. And again, you want to, let your players know to be thinking. Also, watch a double pass, watch a reverse here.
So Piedmont going to set up again.
So you got all your receivers into the short side. Another empty look here.
Woods is going to go to the line. Smith on the keeper. Going to pick up a decent gain, going to lower his shoulder and pick up the first down.
Yeah, so, quarterback sneak again. But, the thing Northridge is doing is they're putting more and more guys on the line of scrimmage. The more guys you put on the line of scrimmage, the more gaps you create. More gaps you create, the more players Piedmont's got to commit and line up in them. Well, they don't have somebody lined up in the gap, so he just takes the snap and run through it.
And Piedmont's hand is being forced with how well Northridge is blocking.
Absolutely. And it's a real neat chess match to watch going on right now between the coaching staffs.
So 1st and 10 from Piedmont's 31. Woods is about 5 yards deep in the backfield. Smith is going to take this one under center. Smith hands to Woods, and he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. So we've sung Woods' praises all day. That time, couldn't get loose.
No, he couldn't. Piedmont with a real nice job. First thing he did was get penetration into the backfield and then not over-pursuing that. A lot of times you'll see a kid who'll get through the line of scrimmage and just kind of overrun it. The ball cuts back behind them. Nice job by Piedmont being disciplined, getting into the backfield, and then breaking down and being able to make a tackle.
And Piedmont's going to want to keep Northridge behind the sticks.
Oh, for sure. And I think it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're in 4-down territory, I'm pretty sure.
2nd and 11. Smith going to let this one go down the right sideline. It is nearly intercepted off the hands of a defender. That was number 10 in coverage. That was Bryson Shaw, who made the play and almost came up with a big turnover.
Yeah, he sure did. And that was Northridge right there taking the shot. They had the big heavy run look with all those bodies on the line of scrimmage. faked the run, and it was just a one-man route. He tried to get the ball to Nash again, and just the coverage was too good.
But especially, like you said, fourth down territory, so you don't really mind taking a shot like that on 2nd and 11.
Right. When you know you're going fourth down, it changes your play calling completely on 2nd down.
Northridge is going to burn a timeout. They're 2nd of the half.
Yeah, so you see both coaches really kind of pushing all their first half chips into the middle of the table here, taking their timeouts. They realize the importance of this possession right here. Because, again, you're not going to see a lot of 2-minute offense type things coming up, from middle school teams. So, like I said, premium on the points right here. All the chips are in the middle of the table. We're going to see what happens. Is Northridge going to go into the half with the lead? Or, is there a chance we're going in tied up?
The CMS Middle School Championship would like to thank our district partners for their support: Ortho Carolina, Powerade, Charlotte Center for the Facial and Oral Surgery, and TD Bank. And also a special thanks to VTO Sports for organizing the Middle School Football Championship. So Northridge going to come back to the line. 3rd and 11.
Yeah, so, like we're saying, four down scenario here. So you don't need to get 11 yards on this play. Really, if you can get half here, set yourself up with a 4th and 5 where now you could possibly run it. You might throw it. You want to give yourself some options here. But, again, you don't need to get the first down on this play.
Smith again in an empty backfield. They have Woods in there at tight end. Smith rolls to his right, keeps the eyes downfield, spinning away from defenders, and he is sacked.
Big trouble.
Dropped at the 47-yard line. That is a huge loss for Northridge.
Sure is. And you see what their coaches are trying to do is try to get him out on the edge again, kind of give him a half-field read. If it's not this guy, it's this guy. If it's not that one, it's that one. It's just kind of 1, 2, 3. But, it's hard to do that when you got defenders breathing down your neck like that. But just a huge play for Piedmont here. And, now if you're Northridge, you're probably going to call something safe, because you don't want to really you want to make sure you're not turning the ball over and giving them a chance to return an interception for a touchdown or a fumble. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see a simple handoff here.
Now, in the middle school game, obviously a little bit different than high school and college. Right here, would you rather, if you're Northridge, would you rather punt or try to run a play and pick up some yards?
Yeah, and that's such a tough thing. I think I'd probably just go ahead and run a play here because, again, there's so many things that could go wrong on a special teams play when you bring a long snapper in and things like that. That's the thing. It just, without knowing what the experience level is with their kids, they just may not be, real comfortable with trying to punt in here.
Piedmont's going to take another timeout. They want to make sure they get off the field right here.
Right. And that's the thing when you start taking timeouts like that, though, because now you're at 3:19. You maybe get the ball back here at about the 45-yard line at midfield. So, now I believe they're only going to have one timeout left after this, and you're still going to have a decent amount of time and might have pretty good field position. And that's just a balancing act. You run, and, sometimes you say, okay, this is the time where you can use the timeouts. We're going to draw a line in the sand right here. And it turns around. But, at least they use the timeouts defensively. They're able to, it looks like you're potentially get the stop. And essentially you turn it into a 2-quarter game and you come out after halftime.
Right, and a stop here for Piedmont would be huge. They're going to have a chance to take the lead going into the half.
It looks like they are going to line up to punt it. But again, if that's going to be Smith back there to punt it, here's a kid who's dangerous, who handles the ball on every single play. So I don't think you would see, Piedmont's just got one safety back.
Smith going to take the snap. He's going to look to throw. Smith sees an opening, tries to take off. Flag flies into the backfield. Smith still avoiding pressure and is now dropped to the 45.
Right, so you get the flag there, assuming that's probably going to be a holding call. If you're Piedmont, you're going to go ahead and decline the penalty. You're going to take the ball right here at the 45-yard line. You're going to have 3 minutes plus a little bit and a timeout to try to do something with. And with Lindsey and Pearsall out there on the edges, this 55, 60 yards could go pretty quick.
And you know what they say, speed kills. Right, and Lamontre, Lindsey, and Mason Pearsall, they got some speed and they got some size as well. And that's also big in the middle school game.
Absolutely, and that's a great opportunity, even if they're covered. If, you get someone on cover, throw it up anyway. I mean, just 6'3", 6'4" kids, throw it up, take your chance.
So Piedmont's going to have 3 minutes and 7 seconds to work with from the 45. Now, if you're Piedmont in this situation, do you want to make this the last drive of the half?
Oh, definitely. I think so.
Now, what goes into doing that in a situation with 3 minutes left? That's not, 2 minutes or 1 minute.
Right. And I think a lot of that's going to depend on what happens here on first down.
They're going to hand to Dobbins, trying to find an opening, and he is met at the line of scrimmage by Northridge.
Nothing doing on that one. Right, so now you're in a situation, you're in a second and long situation, so the aggressiveness you may have felt on first down, let's, try to make something happen here. 2nd and 10, now you're having to put a little more risk behind what you're doing.
And that clock is bleeding. Only 2 minutes and 15 seconds left now. Houston going to loft this one up down the field. There's Pearsall. No white shirts between the goal line. Touchdown, Piedmont.
DePaulo, you said it, man. Speed kills. They're able to get Pearsall behind the defense. Houston got the ball out there, and he just ran away from it. Huge play right before the half. And, when you think about it, Northridge got the ball to start the game. So Piedmont gets a score here. You think you can get a quick stop, you get off the field at halftime. Now Piedmont's going to get the ball again to start the second half.
Well, excuse me again, I misspoke. That was Orlando Whitaker Jr., and we've talked about him today and how fast he is. There's his speed showing right there.
There's just a wealth of talent down there on the side. I know Coach Thompson, he kind of strutting around down there in the sideline. He's feeling real good about that right now, and I don't blame him.
So the 2-point attempt, and we have flags again.
It's like Northridge is trying to time up the blitz on that. I think a false start may have got Piedmont.
I believe that was Woods trying to get back there in the backfield, trying to time it up. And if Northridge is called for another offside, that would make it, the 6th or 7th penalty against Northridge in the first half?
Quite a bit. And that's the thing, you're going into a championship, not just a championship, but any kind of game. The first thing you got to do before you win a game is not lose it. And, you talk to your kids about not losing a game by not committing penalties, especially pre-snap penalties. Then you want to make sure you're taking away any post-snaps, any post-play, 15-yard penalties, things like that. And then the next thing is you got to make sure you're secure with the football. So making sure you're not hurting yourself before you can go out and beat another team. But like you said, 4, 5, 6 offsides penalties really hurt themselves.
I believe that was another penalty right there. I think Northridge got called for another offside. But now at this point, you might as well try to time up that snap, right?
Oh, yeah. There's no risk by not doing it. I can see direct snap and just kind of push it all into the end.
It's Dobbins again, walks right in untouched, and Piedmont takes an 8-point lead late in the first half.
Yeah, big play. And, it all started, you go back to the end of that Northridge possession where they got the sack, they got the holding penalty, but, set up at, midfield really to take over their possession. Using the timeouts on defense really worked out for them that time because they didn't need to use them here on offense. They got the big play. So, everything worked out in Piedmont's favor there these last 3 or 4 minutes and a half.
I would also argue, however, if Northridge were to allow a score, that's the best case scenario right there. They still have 2 minutes to drive down the field.
No doubt. Players like Houston and Woods over there, anything can happen.
Again, great atmosphere at Mallard Creek, and obviously – we extend our thanks to Mallard Creek for hosting what is a great game and a great occasion.
Oh, absolutely it is. One thing to keep an eye on now, Piedmont's kicked off a couple of times, and both times Northridge got the ball right at about the 50-yard line.
That's, special teams, that could be where a game is won or lost.
Absolutely.
So it's something to keep your eye on for sure.
And that's one thing you see a lot of head coaches on the high school level, even, in college, if you look at the NFL with John Harbaugh, a lot of head coaches get involved in special teams because that's something a lot of kids don't look at or really concerned about playing special teams. But like you said, that's going to win or lose you a game as well.
Here's number 12 on the return, Javion Jordan makes it to about the 30-yard line, and Northridge not terrible field position.
Yeah, great kick that time. Great job hustling down the field. You're at the 30-yard line, 1:54 to go. So again, I think it's going to be a lot of getting Smith out on the edge, kind of giving him that run pass option.
But also, this late in the half, you got to be conscious of that clock.
Absolutely, and above all else, right now, you better protect the football.
Right. You do not want to give Piedmont, a giveaway to where they're in deep in your territory, again towards the end of the first half.
Right, and especially, like I said, with them getting the ball to start the second half.
Shotgun look for Smith. 1st and 10 from the 30, and we have movement again. This time they're going to get Piedmont for an offside. So if
they got one back.
If you're a Northridge fan, parent, coach, you are breathing a big sigh of relief right there. 1st and 5 for Northridge. From the Piedmont 35, the Northridge 35. Smith takes the snap. Going to swing it out there for Woods. In space, trying to make a move, and he is brought down on the edge right there, number 4 for Piedmont. That's MJ Connor, and great pursuit to the ball by Connor.
Yeah, just quick throw by Northridge. High completion percentage, not a lot of risk behind it. And, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get one of your best athletes, LaRon Woods, out into space, maybe make a guy miss, break a tackle, and, getting them the ball on the outside like that, you got an opportunity to make a big play.
Now only 43 seconds remain in the half for Northridge.
Yeah, that pass rush for Piedmont, I'm sure they got their ears pinned back. They're ready to get after the quarterback right now.
Smith on 2nd and 11. Trying to make a move. There's a flag down, and Smith is going down in the backfield. So we've seen a lot of Smith, being mobile. And can Northridge push the ball down the field?
Yeah, I think as far as this half goes, I think you're probably going to be best served. Let's just go ahead. Let's get out of the half. But, we come back here in the second half, depending on what Piedmont does with that first possession, they may be forced to have to push the ball down the field a little bit more than they're comfortable with.
And they're going to get Northridge with a hold here. Piedmont's going to decline. And that's going to bring up 3rd down. So now you're this backed up. Do you just call a smart play, a handoff, try to get to half?
Yeah, you don't want to put the ball in harm's way here a little bit. Piedmont doesn't have the timeouts to be able to stop you and get the ball back.
Smith rolling right side, trying to make a play again, and he is slung down. And that Piedmont pass rush is really causing issues for Northridge.
See, now in throwing the ball that time, Piedmont was able to get the sack, and they had the one timeout left. So you've got a chance now with 5 seconds left. You've got Northridge backed up. So as you're Northridge, you probably have to punt the ball. And,
you probably do.
The risk here is you're getting a punt blocked or turn for a touchdown, something like that. The other thing you might be able to try to do if you're Northridge, and I definitely wouldn't recommend this one, is you try to run a play where that play's going to last about 5 seconds.
Right, and that's the ideal situation, right? But there's so much risk involved in that.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime that ball's snapped, anything could happen. We talk to our kids all the time about, football's not round. You can't predict the way that thing's going to bounce once it hits the ground. So, yeah, you just want to minimize as much risk as possible right now.
So for Piedmont, that is a dream of a way to end the first half. They get the score, they get the 2, and then they get the stop, and they're even going to get the football back with 5 seconds.
No kidding. They get the pump forced here, and just this is going to be a real interesting call, on how Coach Smith and the Northridge staff decides to navigate this.
Obviously, Smith is the punter, Trey Smith, that is. So we're not really going to be able to tell what play they're going to call, but it looks like they're actually going to try to run a play here.
5 seconds remaining.
That's Woods in the backfield.
Yeah, I formation. You see, I think Smith sees the gap. He wants to sneak it through there again.
They're going to hand off to Woods. Woods, oh, man. Lowering the shoulder. And that's going to bring us to the end of the first half.
Yeah, nicely done, just to be able to get out of there and navigate that. We did get one more flag, though.
We had to sneak one more flag into the first half.
thinking whatever the penalty is going to be, you know, it's assessed on the opening kickoff of the second half here. We got a dead ball, unsportsmanlike.
It's going to be on Piedmont.
So we could back up Northridge kick it off from Piedmont's 45-yard line and probably have them backed up a little bit, or that's going to be their hope.
And Piedmont getting the football, too, to start the second half. So at the end of the first half, Piedmont 16, Northridge 8.
Gente de zona, una vez más, homenaje a Bárbaro del Río.
With soccer, so I said, how can I celebrate these kids and their diversity and where they came from? And I came up with this idea to do an international night soccer game.
Representing El Salvador, Morocco, Tyner. Representing Senegal, Cameroon, France.
Enjoying just seeing everyone's cultures and seeing how they express them, and just seeing how many diverse people we have at this school.
I love celebrating our cultures and getting our players from East and Independence all together to really share a beautiful moment of culture and diverse and embrace our rich history here at East Mac.
So the goals is just to bring awareness, to our student body and our fans of where kids are actually from. When they're talking, everybody's speaking English, they're talking to each other in English, but then we have kids from Asia, from Africa, from North America, South America, Central America, everywhere, and shows our kids not only do we accept everybody, but we also celebrate where you're from.
It just means, someone feeling represented, someone different feeling represented in every single way.
Honestly, I just love to be a part of it. I wanted to bring everyone together. I knew East Mac and Independence has a very, very diverse student population, and I wanted to embrace it here at this game.
I think it's great. The parents and the fans really get into it when they see, the flags of their home countries, and we have the different music playing and food trucks coming in and everything. It's kind of an event that everybody's proud to come and represent where they're from.
It's important we communicate, tune the fate of this union to the right pitch. I never call you my bitch or even my boo. There's so much in the name and so much more in you. Few understand the union of woman and man. It's sex and a tingle is where they assuming it land. But that's fly by night for you in the sky, right? During these cold shine nights, moon, you my light. If heaven had a height, you would be that tall. Ghetto the coffee shop, you, I see that all. Let's stick to understanding and we won't fall. For better or worse times, I hope to me you calm. So I pray every day more than anything, friends will stay as we begin to lay this foundation for a family. Love ain't simple. Why can't it be anything worth having you work at annually? Granted, we've known each other for some time. It don't take a whole day to recognize sunshine. It's kind of fresh, you listen to more than hip-hop, and I catch you in the mix from beauty to thrift shop. Plus you ship hop when it's time to, thinking you fresh, suggesting beats I should rhyme to. At times when I'm lost, I try to find you. You know to give me space when it's time to. My heart's dictionary defines you, it's love and happiness. Truthfully, it's hard trying to practice happiness. The time we committed love, it was real good. Had to be for me to arrive, and it still feels good. I know the sex ain't gonna keep you, but as my equal, it's how I must treat you. As my reflection, the light, I'ma lead you. And whatever's right, I'ma feed you. Yo, I tell you the rest when I see you. Peace. You stood right beside me, yeah. And I'm again, and I really love you. You should know. I wanna make sure I'm right, girl, before I let go. We've had good time. That's not to say we've heard each other. Girl, it's a shame. I won't be foolish, no. I wanna know. I wanna make sure.
Welcome back to the CMS Middle School Championship presented by Ortho Carolina. After one half, Piedmont with an 8-point lead, 16-8 over Northridge. Let's get into some highlights.
Yeah, so Northridge starting off, a little play action, and the big thing we saw was Smith making a lot of plays with his arm and with his feet, and that's been his thing all year. Like I said, 12 touchdown passes, 10 touchdown runs. But then you had Piedmont, getting the ball down here point blank and just being able to run that thing in.
And then over the top, finding Orlando Whitaker Jr., and he's got some speed.
Right, and that was such a huge play there at the end of the half. They just gotten the stop, on Northridge, to be able to get that touchdown, be able to get the ball back and really do something with it. Maybe try to get, a little bit more separation here between these two teams.
And Piedmont getting the ball. The first drive of the second half is going to be crucial to determine how the rest of this game is going to go.
No, absolutely. And I had a basketball coach in high school, and he used to talk about the first 4 minutes of each half. The second half was such a big time. It definitely translates to football as well. What are you going to do with this first possession? How's the setup? How's the second half going to be played?
Also, those 2-point conversions down the stretch going to be key. That's the difference in the game.
Right, and that's, and I'm sure these coaches, like I said, it's an experienced crew of coaches, so, I'm sure they have an entire, playbook full of 2-point plays. So, when you see these guys get down in that 2-3 yard line area, probably see a little bit more creativity because, again, these are situations that they're used to being in, and that's that situational football like I had mentioned in the first half.
So at the end of the first half, we did have a penalty flag. It was unsportsmanlike conduct, and I believe that's going to be enforced here on the kickoff.
Right. So you see Northridge put the ball on the 45-yard line to kick off, and, their hope right now is to get Piedmont pinned and make them drive the length of the field. Of course, you're Piedmont. Try to get a couple blocks here and spring a big one.
Smith set to kick it away.
No, 16 minutes left. We'll have a champion of CMS middle school football.
That we will.
Yeah, guess who does the kickoffs as well?
Trey Smith going to try the onside. Fielded well by Piedmont.
Got a penalty flag here.
I believe it's going to be on Piedmont. Might have him for an illegal formation.
Yeah, really, pretty smart, real smart actually here by Northridge. Since you've already got, the good field position to kick off, they went ahead, go with the onside kick.
There's nothing to lose in that situation.
Right. Worst case scenario, you're giving the ball up 35, 30-yard line, but the reward side of that, of getting that possession back, definitely worth the roll of the dice. And you see a lot of teams do that after a big penalty, a 15-yard penalty after a touchdown.
So Smith going to kick off again. He's going to try the onside once again. Fielded well again by Piedmont, so they'll take over.
There you go. 31-yard line, 32-yard line.
And if you're Northridge, what has got to go into stopping Piedmont? Piedmont's gotten anything they've wanted on Northridge.
Well, again, just being assignment sound. If you're that middle safety in the back, don't let anybody get deeper than you, and always be able to rally up, make a tackle, force them to snap the ball again. But really, again, staying away from the big plays like that.
So 1st and 10 Piedmont from the 32. They're going to hand to Dobbins, trying to spin out of a tackle. Picks up a couple yards on play number 1.
Yeah, I suspect that was Woods coming up off the bottom of the pile again. Not only does LeBron run very well, he's also a great tackler. We saw that first play of the game. He's out there in space one-on-one, secured the tackle for a loss.
2nd and 7. Houston going to let this one go. He's got a man down the field. It's caught.
Yeah, nice call there by by Coach Thompson. They went with what's called a smash concept, which is your outside receiver runs a real short, maybe like a 4-yard route. Your inside receiver then runs a corner route. And what you're doing is you're looking at that cornerback. If he comes up on the short route, you throw it over his head. If he sinks back under the corner route, you throw it to the short one. and of course, with having the size of the receivers that you do, being able to throw that up on the corner is a great luxury to have.
First down Piedmont, they hand to Dobbins, and not going to get very much.
Ron Woods again, I mean, he's almost putting on a Ray Lewis impersonation out here. I mean, it's an intense kid. He's excited. He's making plays.
And the craziest thing about it is he's only in 7th grade. He's still got another year of middle school ball to go.
Wow. Excited to see what he's going to become.
And we have another flag, and I believe this is going to be an offside on Northridge.
Yeah, just giving them 5 yards.
That was number 34, Quincy Platt, who jumped offside.
And that's the hard part is, seeing so many avoidable mistakes. I mean, there's times you're going to go out and some team may be better than you or a player may get the better of you on a snap, but when you do it before the ball even snaps, that makes it really hard.
And it's time and time again for Northridge. Houston going to swing this one out to Purcell, and Purcell down the right sideline to the 25 where he's upended.
Yeah, a little play action out of them. They showed counter blocking. They pulled the lineman from the right side to pull the defense that way. Quarterback pulls it out, puts the ball on him right now. The great thing about the throw by Houston is Pearsall didn't have to reach for it. Put it right on his body. He's able to turn and start making yards immediately.
And Pearsall, an explosive athlete, that's all he needs. Hit him right in the chest and he'll take it and go.
Right. It doesn't take much.
Empty look for Houston. He's just going to let this one go towards the end zone. It is overthrown, incomplete, just a bit too tall.
Yeah, I think even if he caught that one, he's going to end up out of bounds. That's one thing about those. 100% of balls thrown out of bounds are going to be incomplete.
He was looking for Lamontre Lindsay, again, one half of that two-headed monster, him and Pearsall. And Northridge, if you're the Northridge defensive coordinator, how do you go about game planning for these two wide receivers?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you know, more often than not, you're going to want to play two deep safeties on that so you can get some help over the top on those corners. The problem with doing that is now you're taking another guy kind of out of the box, so to speak, and out of the run defense.
We have a stoppage in play. I'm not sure if a timeout was called.
You know, that's the thing going back to, you know, kind of the way they're doing things with Lindsay and with Pearsall is, you know, you've got such a physical advantage just with their size that you don't have to be a super accurate quarterback. Not to say that, you know, Tamario's not a super accurate quarterback, but, you know, it kind of brings down the degree of difficulty a little bit. When you can throw the ball up, you feel pretty good that one of those guys are going to come down with it.
It's got to be a quarterback's dream, right?
It really is. It really is. Because, I mean, it's hard to move the ball. There, you know, so many things, you know, have to be coordinated between the blocking schemes and the snaps got to be on time and all that. When you have an opportunity to just catch the snap and throw the ball up there nice and high, you know, it kind of, I don't want to say it lessens the importance of those other things, but it kind of lessens the importance of those other things as well.
Well, when there's that huge height advantage, it makes everything so simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see this time you got a safety over the top here on the sideline. They're going to try to double those too. But in doing that, you're going to open up opportunities for other people.
Houston going to take a shot to the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Piedmont. Number 8, Mason Pearsall hauls it in.
Yeah, and I think that was that same smash concept I was talking about earlier. We get the short route out on the sideline, and then you get that deep corner route out of Pearsall here. He gets past the safety. It's just such a great play. You know, the throw was nice. You know, it got there. It was nice and high, and it gave Pearsall a chance to kind of adjust and use his body to shield the defender on that. It really is such a great athletic play by Pearsall to have that body awareness and body control to catch it and then to still find the goal line.
And then Dobbins in again. That's the third time we've seen a direct snap on the 2-point conversion, and it's worked every time for people.
Right. You know, and I was saying earlier they may have this package of 2-point plays. This is their 2-point play. You know, we're just going to block down with everybody. We're going to send a bunch of fullbacks in there. Then we're just going to push the pile.
It's those hog mollies up front. Xavion Dillon, Richard Seago, Charlie Brookhart, among others, and they've done such a good job tonight.
Right. It's almost like their version of the Philly, the tush push.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of getting into deep water here if you're Northridge, because now you're probably going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. Piedmont knows that. You know, so those defensive linemen, those defensive ends, they're really going to kind of pin their ears back, not worry so much about the run game, and really put all their focus now on Smith once he gets the ball in his hands.
And, Coach, you have an experience in comebacks. October 2022, Charlotte Catholic came back from down 19.
Yes,
what
sir.
goes into a good comeback?
Great players. Great players. And, you got to catch a few breaks. But, no, that was such a great night because we had 2010, 2012 state championship teams on the sidelines. It was my birthday, and it was such a great night. The onside kick again.
Onside, he goes off the hands of Platt and recovered by Northridge at the 40. Fortunate break there for Northridge. That could have been a crucial mistake.
Yeah, at the end, no harm, no foul. Kid was a little frustrated, got through his hands, but, Northridge able to secure possession here. But, yeah, talking about that comeback, too, and I think where it's applicable is it started off for us on the special teams. The score that put us down 19, we turned around, we returned that next kickoff for a touchdown. We're already into the fourth quarter. 19-7 game, you make a stop. Then we had another big play where the ball was actually tipped up, and our receiver caught it in stride. So you've got to be good, but there's definitely a degree of luck that's involved as well.
So first down for Northridge. They're going to start at their own 40. Again, good field position. And, when you have field position like this, it makes, scoring points and getting closer to that comeback more achievable.
Right. And so much of it just starts with the belief that we can come back, the belief that we can make these plays.
On play number 1, Smith, he's feeling the pressure and dropped.
Never had a chance. They brought the blitz. Northridge didn't have anybody to pick him up, and he was right in Smith's face almost immediately.
I mean, number 4 for Piedmont, that's MJ Connor, timed up that snap beautifully.
Yeah, he sure did. And, some guys just have a knack of knowing when to go and knowing when to approach the line of scrimmage. And that stuff, you just get that by playing the game, by being out on the field and doing those things. And, whether it's out here on Mallard Creek Field or you're with your friends in the backyard doing that, the more you play, the better you get.
They're going to hand to Woods here. Picks up a decent gain. That'll bring up second down. And in this situation, you're down 2 scores. It's getting late early. You're going to have to consider going for it on 4th in your own territory.
Yeah, you're going to be forced into make some decisions you don't really want to make, but again, that's just kind of the situation we find ourselves in. This game goes fast with the 8-minute quarters, so there's probably only a couple of possessions left in this game as it is.
Third down for Northridge.
Yeah, they show blitz that time and back out.
Smith rolling to his right. And he can't get out of trouble.
Yeah, he's running for his life back there. Now, that's the thing, so Piedmont, they show blitz, initially before the ball snap. So what you're doing is you're creating a little bit of confusion with that blocking scheme that now you're not sure who to pick up. When you drop those linebackers out, now you still have 7 guys in coverage, but you got a confused offensive line, and that's how you're able to get some guys free with your pass rush without having to actually blitz and, sacrifice those coverage defenders.
And credit to Piedmont's pass rush as well. I mean, you got the 2, we've talked about Lamontre and Pearson all day, and they're on the edge, and then you got the linebackers coming up, making plays. They're all over the place.
No, absolutely. It's great team defense.
So on 4th down, Smith's going to drop back and just punt this one away. It's going to roll past the 40-yard line to about the 35. That's a good kick from Northridge.
Absolutely. And, really that's the thing. We talk all the time to our punt returners about as soon as that ball hits the ground, you're typically going to lose as an offense about 15 yards. So you want to do everything you can, to try to catch that ball. But, again, at the same time, and I know I keep going back to it, but it's so important in football is just to not take unnecessary risks too.
Especially in that situation, right? The punt's a little bit to the side, you can't really get to it that easy.
Right.
It would have been a tough play to make.
Right.
So you'll take the loss of yards without the risk of losing possession,
Absolutely.
Especially when you're up 16 points.
Right. Piedmont's got to get some Northridge has to catch some breaks to start this comeback. Why put gasoline on the fire to help them out?
That ball is going to be spotted about the...
I think we had a block in the back there.
We did have a block in the back. That's going to be a penalty on Piedmont. We've seen penalty markers all day long for both teams.
Quite a bit.
So they're going to start at their own 24. Houston with an empty look on first down. 3 wide receivers to his left.
And that's the thing, we're talking about last possession, trying to put a little bit of safety help over the top. When you have five wide receivers out there, it makes it a little tougher to keep people over the top of everything.
And that play is blown up. It was Platt and Woods in the backfield making the stop, and that looked like a broken play to me. I think they were trying to get that touch pass going to Purcell again.
I think so too. But really nice job by Northridge getting some pressure into the backfield, putting them in in a really long yardage situation here.
Now going to be second down, but if you're Piedmont, you're almost comfortable in this situation, right? You're comfortable with time bleeding off the clock. You don't necessarily – it's not your goal to obviously lose yardage, but in this situation it's okay.
Right. You have options. As long as the clock is running right now, you're happy with what's going on.
Houston's going to throw to the left side. Making a move as the wide receiver, cutting it back across field. He's got a block down the right sideline. Look out across the 50, spun out of bounds at around the 45. That is Orlando Whitaker again.
Cooper, you couldn't have set that up any better. I mean, really, it was a short pass. It was a really high completion percentage. But you get the ball to your athlete out in space, and then who knows what's going to happen. But they're so good on the outside, not just with the ball in the hands, but they're able to make these things happen because the other receivers are blocking for them too.
And Whitaker, man, he's having a day, isn't he?
He sure is.
All the attention went to Mason Pearsall and Lamontre Lindsay, and Whitaker's, he's had a big day.
Exactly. And that, you go back to what I was saying in the first half, when you get into a game like this, you know what you're going to get out of Lindsay. You know what you're going to get out of Pearsall. Who's the next guy who's going to make something happen? In this case, it's been Whitaker quite a bit.
We have a flag down after the play. It was a 1-yard rush for Dobbins.
Yeah, it looked like Woods threw him down again like he's done a couple of times here. I wonder if he had him by the face mask that time. That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Face mask on Woods.
Face mask against Northridge.
And Woods, that's really the only blemish on his day. He's been all over the place. He's been making plays on both sides of the ball.
He sure has. One thing I'd like to see from Laurent a little bit, you've seen a lot of these tackles where he's reaching and kind of slinging guys down. You like to see him kind of run through those tackles and secure them a little bit more. And again, as you say, he's a 7th grader. Yeah. He's going to learn these things, but because you'll see when you get to high school, you're not going to be able to bring these running backs down like that.
So 1st and 10 for Piedmont, now deep into Northridge territory. Houston takes the snap, feels the pressure immediately, makes a play with his feet, but is swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage.
Guess who was back there immediately? Laurent Woods.
Yep, Woods.
Laurent Woods.
He's been in the backfield all day long.
Right. Like I say, he's got such a knack for timing the snap up, avoiding blocks, and being able to have an opportunity to make plays. But even on that, when he gets back there, he doesn't make the tackle himself, but just kind of blows up the whole thing.
Now going to be second down after the 2-yard loss. They're going to hand it Dobbins, and a good gain from Dobbins there on second down.
Nice gain on second down.
And with Piedmont here, the clock's moving. You're perfectly content with just, your 3 or 4 yards.
Right, 3 or 4 yards. You're going to get the third down. And we're going to take a break here. Piedmont cruising up 16 over Northridge. And we're back live from Mallard Creek High School. We're about set to get the 4th quarter of the CMS Middle School Championship underway. Here's what happened on the last play. These are the highlights from the first half.
Yeah, you got Smith out on the run, throwing the ball up, making a big play. Again, getting out of the pocket, getting out on the edge, getting away from that Piedmont pass rush. And then Piedmont, again, they get in that point-blank range. They're going to load the box up and just try to mow you down.
And there's Orlando Whitaker. We've been calling his name all day, had the big touchdown. And, man, has he been good for Piedmont.
Yeah, it's tough for Northridge because they're seeing things they haven't seen all year. Just big play after big play. They've been able to avoid that for the most part all year. And you look just a lot softer coverage here. You got 3 guys. You got your 2 safeties are back. Corner to the wide side of the field's playing off coverage a little bit.
Houston takes the snap on 3rd down. Going to roll to his right. Going to throw it up for grabs and out of bounds.
Yeah, really Piedmont kind of helped out Northridge in that case because you get the incompletion, you get the stoppage of the clock.
Now with 8-minute quarters, it is going to be tough for Northridge to put together 2 complete drives where they get in the end zone and get the 2-point conversion. But they're one big play away from being right back in this game.
No, you're absolutely right, Cooper. And for Piedmont, the name of the game here is just, number 1, secure the football. I said a minute ago, you don't want to put fuel on a comeback attempt, so make sure you secure the football.
4th down, Houston's going to let this one go. Up for grabs, it is caught. That is Mason Pearsall again. And all you got to do is throw it up to him.
You're talking about securing the ball. I guess throwing the ball up nice and high to Pearsall is just the same as securing the football.
That'll set up Piedmont with a 1st and goal. And for Northridge, I mean, it feels like there's just too many guys on the field for Piedmont to contain.
It really does. It's like the little Dutch boy trying to plug up the dam. Once you get one thing under control, another spring pops open.
So 1st and goal for Piedmont. Dobbins in the backfield, and this looks like another potential direct snap.
Yeah, this has been that heavy run set. They're just going to send all those fullbacks inside.
Oh, trouble with the snap for Dobbins, and he's wrapped up in the backfield. That's a big loss on 1st and goal.
Yeah, it almost looked like they were trying to do something a little bit different than what they've done, the previous times they showed this formation, but snap got away here a little bit, and, you find the minus yardage play. But for Piedmont, again, that championship's getting, every time that ball snapped, it's a little bit closer and a little bit closer. So, the big thing you talk about here is finish.
Houston going to toss it up. It's intercepted. Picked off by Northridge. And returned out across the 20. That is just the play that Northridge needed.
I mean, just what the doctor ordered, like you said, Coop. I mean, you get not only do you get the stop where Piedmont doesn't add to the score, but you get the turnover at the same time. A little bit of momentum here, so you got a little bit of a spark. What can you do with this spark? Like you said, to turn this into a one-possession game.
And it was the quarterback, Trey Smith, going up and getting that interception.
Tell you what, Trey Smith's going to make a lot of coaches look really smart for the next couple of years.
I mean, that kid's an athlete. Can do it with his legs, can do it on defense. He can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
1st down for Northridge. They're going to start on their own 22. Going to need an 88-yard drive. Going to need to get a stop and get the football back if they want to tie this game up.
Yeah, and really you're hoping for a big play at some point here. Some kind of big, kind of sudden change where you get the turnover. But you need 1 or 2 of those plays that Piedmont's had, one of those big 60, 70-yard touchdowns. They're bringing pressure here.
Smith going to hand to Woods on play number 1, lowering the shoulder and just driving Piedmont defenders. He's wrapped up after a couple yards.
Right. And, one philosophy offensively is you want to think about players, not plays. And this is the case of you're trying to get the ball into the hands of one of your best football players. Hopefully he's going to make something happen.
And we have a Piedmont player down here. Trying to get a look at their number. Not sure, but that's not what you want to see. Not in this game, not in this big moment.
Got an injury timeout. 5:46 remaining in the game.
We want to thank our CMS Middle School Championship sponsors again, Ortho Carolina, Powerade, Charlotte Center for Financial and Oral Surgery, and TD Bank. And also, again, a special thanks to VTO Sports for organizing the Middle School Football Championship.
One thing we talk about, looking down the road for both of these teams, for these players, obviously football season is going to end today for both teams. So, hopefully you're going to see these kids go on, into the winter sports season hopefully you got guys playing basketball, guys are wrestling, just continue to work, continue to get better at things. That's one thing that, to me is just so important for these kids at this age, is playing a lot of different sports.
Second down for Northridge. They're going to hand to Woods. Woods trying to cut it back and make a move. And, nasty tackle on Woods there. He's going to pick up a couple yards, going to set up a third and manageable.
Yeah, Northridge is just trying to make something happen here. Like I said, trying to get the ball into one of their best players, and hopefully he can make something happen here.
That was Maddox Huang who went down for Piedmont, and that's a guy we've heard about. So that's a big loss for Piedmont.
It sure is. Coaching staff's real high on Maddox. They even said before the game they expect him to have a big game, expect him to make a lot of plays.
So third down for Northridge, and at this point, this stage of the game, you're going for it on fourth down if it comes to that. So you can pick up a couple yards here and set up your fourth down play.
Right. It looks like they're wanting to run the ball. First down on second down. So so you want to develop a little bit of confidence in that run game.
In Northridge, could be forced to burn a timeout. That isn't ideal, especially when you're trying to come back.
Right.
Come back from down multiple scores.
No doubt.
You need the football again. There's 5 minutes to play as it is.
But no, just going back to that, that multi-sport athlete point. Last night I was out here and had the opportunity to call the Lake Norman Mountain Creek game. Lake Norman's got a quarterback, Caden Kraft, 6'5" kid who, as soon as football season's over, he goes right into basketball. As soon as basketball's over, he goes out on the track. He's actually a decathlete. One of his best events, he throws the javelin. But, especially for the kids this age, I personally think it's so important that they try different sports, because you don't know, what sport may choose you. You may love football right now, but there may be a basketball player in that body. There may be a wrestler in that body. I know myself, like if you would ask me in 8th grade, if you would say, okay, you're going to have the career that you had and do the things that you were able to do, I would have thought it would have been in the sport of basketball. I was a much better basketball player growing up. I didn't put a football helmet on until I got to 9th grade. So that's, and it's just like I said, you don't know what sport's going to pick you, and just try a bunch of different things, because you're going to get better at everything the more different things that you do.
Coach, you're underselling yourself a little bit. You were all conference in basketball.
Well,
Smith going to try to escape, trying to pick up some yards, and he's going to maybe get a yard. In Northridge, that offense just doesn't seem to be there for him.
Yeah, it's just the pass rush for Piedmont's just overwhelming right now.
And you have those two on the edge. You have Lamonte Lindsay and Mason Pearsall, and you're fighting a losing battle as it is for Northridge, and now you're trying to come back as well. It just feels like the odds are stacked against them.
Right. You mentioned some of these other kids, Clebre on the inside as well, putting some of that pressure in the quarterback's face.
So fourth down for Northridge. It either goes or it doesn't for him. Smith rolling, trying to make a play with his legs, and he is sacked. Lamontre Lindsay. And Piedmont's going to take over deep in Northridge territory.
Yeah, with 3:59 left, you got a 2-score game. You're about to take over inside the 20. I think it may it might be time to start etching Piedmont into that championship trophy.
Oh, these players, these coaches, they're starting to taste this back-to-back titles. And Piedmont 100% deserved. They have a super gifted team.
No, they do. They have a great football team. They have a great deal of talent. But, the one thing, too, talent's not always going to win you a championship. You got to have, number one, you got to have a great coaching staff that, they know what they're doing. They're organized. They know how to push kids. They know how to teach the game. You don't get that. Like I said, you could throw talent out there, but if it doesn't know what to do or doesn't know how to do it, it's not real helpful.
So a little update on Maddox Huang. He's out on the sideline walking around, stretching, so that's an encouraging sight for the kid. You never want a serious injury, especially in the championship game.
Right. The kid wants to be out there, too, especially, you're trying to put this thing away, you're trying to ice it. You want to be on the field for these things.
So 1st and 10 for Piedmont. They're going to hand to Dobbins. He'll pick up maybe a yard. And for Piedmont, you're not really trying to score. You're not trying to take any risks right here. Just hand it off a couple times, bleed off as much clock as you can.
Right. And having that 2-score cushion here, they could try something, maybe a little reverse, something like that here, just to kind of put the last nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Second down, they're going to hand to Dobbins, spun down in the backfield. That is LaRon Woods again.
Yeah, Woods in Piedmont's backfield as much as he's been in his own backfield today.
I don't want to say that Northridge played poorly. I think they ran into a really good football team, but Northridge, they fell short today. But, man, LaRon Woods was a bright spot for him.
He really is. He really is. And, again, we keep going back to the fact he's just in 7th grade. There's so much in front of him. There's so much in front of him athletically.
It's going to be 3rd down for Piedmont. Clock's still running. We're just under 3 minutes now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those corner routes coming up here again.
Houston takes a snap, rolls to his right, going to throw it up for grabs over the head of his running back, Dobbins, incomplete. So that actually helps out Northridge.
It does. It does. And, in Piedmont, it's called a flood concept here. We have one receiver going deep, one receiver in the middle, one receiver short. And, again, you're just kind of reading that from one level to the next. If the guy's there, you give it to him. And just got to miss the throw that time.
So 4th down, and it looks like Piedmont's going to keep the offense out there, but why wouldn't you?
Right, exactly. Short of a turnover return for a touchdown, worst thing that happens is Northridge has to drive the ball the length of the field.
Houston going to drop back. He's going to fire it to the end zone. It is caught. Mason Purcell, the exclamation point for Piedmont.
It's just too much. It's too much right now. These kids, they've got the physical mismatch. They got the size advantage. You got a quarterback with all the confidence in the world. He's got great pass protection.
Felt like the perfect storm today for Piedmont.
It really did. Going
to try for 2 again to extend their lead to 24. And they'll walk right in again. Touchdown. Sorry, not touchdown, but the 2-point conversion is good.
In Northridge, at this point you start looking back and you think about some of the missed opportunities you may have had. I think you think about, we talked about a lot of the, the penalties, but, at the end of the day, too, sometimes you got to tip your hat and say, that's a better team over there than we were. Today, anyway. Who's to say these guys don't play 10 times and you go 5-5, but, today it definitely looks like Piedmont's the better crew.
It does. And there's Pearsall again, just an athletic grab. All you got to do is throw it up to him.
Yeah, I will say, though, in my defense, basketball was a little bit different in the 1990s in Scranton, Pennsylvania than it is in Charlotte in 2024.
You think you could have gone all conference in Charlotte Mecklenburg?
I don't know, but I would definitely probably lead the Southwest 4A in personal fouls.
2:33 remaining in the championship game here at Northridge High School.
And you can start to sense that Piedmont is starting to feel the excitement, the joys of another championship win.
Right, and I think now what you're starting to see is they're starting to get some of the backups out here to cover kicks and things like that. And, coaches are going to work real hard to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to step on the field today. And, and somebody who's been in this situation quite a few times, this is one of the hardest parts about coaching is making sure you get everybody in, because it's just the last thing you want to do is overlook a kid because they're all important to you. All these kids sacrifice, in the summer and the fall, they're out there when it's 100 degrees, they're out there when it's cold and it's rainy, and so you want to make sure you do that for these kids, if the opportunity's there like it seems to be.
They're just going to try to onside kick this, and I believe they got on top of it.
They did a little bam-bam onside kick where kicker just kind of rolls it and falls on it himself. What you're thinking there is you get that front line's in a hurry to get back, you get those blocks, and you get them bailing out.
And it feels like everything that could have gone right for Piedmont today has.
It sure has. Yeah, it's not often things kind of go the way according to plan and the way you draw them up, and when it does, you feel really good about that.
So Piedmont's going to start in Northridge territory, and the goal of this drive is to bleed as much clock as you can.
Yeah, I think you're looking at this game in the best, what we call the best formation in football, and that's victory formation. So maybe a play or two here, we'll see that from them.
First and 10, it's a direct snap to Dobbins. Weaving through traffic, breaking free, and picking up the first.
It's a 2-point play where you're just trying to, just kind of mug the defense and just get as many hands and as many legs pushing that pile as you can. And that again, now it's just a matter of running out the clock.
That wildcat look for Dobbins, it's worked all day long.
It has, and that's like you see some high schools still going through this, and it's funny how football evolves over the years, and even coming out and seeing Northridge in the I formation today, like you can't really go around Charlotte high school football and see anybody get in the I formation.
Dobbins going to take the direct snap again on first down, and this time he'll only pick up a couple yards before being wrapped up.
Yeah, you like to see, Northridge kids still out here giving their best effort, despite the score, despite, what seems the inevitable is about to be, but they're still out here, they're still giving their best effort. And again, that's a tribute to the coaching staff and, really emphasize that these kids, you want to finish the play, you want to finish the series, you want to finish the game.
And Coach, you've been a part, you won the 2012 4A state title as head coach at Butler. You know what it's like to win a championship. What does that feeling feel like?
It's almost, I want to say it's indescribable, and now I'm going to turn around and try to describe it. But, there's so many things. There's number one, there's the relief. In 2012, we were a huge favorite. We had, one of the best teams, not just in North Carolina. We ended up in the top 5 nationally that year. So, it was a big relief to get through that. But then, you see the excitement for your players because you know what they're invested in. You see, for your assistant coaches and that. And it's just because it takes so many people to make a championship happen.
Dobbins takes the knee, and that will be it. The Piedmont Pirates are back-to-back CMS Middle School champions.
Piedmont Pirates, 32-8 over Northridge. They are your 2024 middle school champs.
And Coach, they deserve every part of it.
Yeah, I think that Piedmont absolutely earned this tonight. And, this afternoon, just their level of execution, the athletic ability, the coaching that they put into it. It was their day today. Like I said, they may play 10 times. Northridge may get them a few more times, but today was Piedmont's day from, really from the beginning to the end.
Congratulations on a great season for both teams.
Well, that's been the CMS Middle School Championship. The Piedmont Pirates are champions.